Tonight, I'm being joined by a former national executive of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Duron Odeyemi, and also Senator Ajibola Basiru, a sitting senator representing Osun State in the National Assembly. Both of them are from Osun State and joining us virtually. Thank you so much, distinguished, and Mr. Odeyemi for joining us tonight. Let's begin.
Thank you very much for bringing me on. I'm happy to be with you.
There's a lot of blames that are going around in your party. Some are largely blaming Mr. Ayodele Fayose on the crisis in the party and what led to the election. I saw some tweets about the reaction of Mr. Fayose when he was responding to, one of the chieftains of the party. For those who believe that the loss of the PDP in Ekiti State was self-inflicted, do you think so?
Yes, I believe so. And that is exactly the situation. And that was what happened. Self-inflicted in the sense that whatever votes is counted for Engineer Segun Oni normally should go to PDP. For the mere fact that he contested under another political party is immaterial. The PDP defeated PDP in that election. And it is quite unfortunate that Nigerian politicians don't imbibe the spirit of sportsmanship, because if you lose an election at the primary level, one would have expected Engineer Oni to cooperate with the winner, Mr. BC Kolawole, and supporting him in such a way that PDP will have won that election. But here is Engineer Oni, who defected, and of course this is his characteristics, and it's quite unfortunate that our electoral law does not give room or give room to people defecting from one political party to another and overnight becoming the candidate. So in a way, we lost to the internal conspiracy. And if you look at it this way, you may not know this, but I want to tell you this, that you may think or you may say that Engineer Oni came second. He came second because he had the support of PDP governors. He had the support of PDP leaders, because many of them believe that, he is the candidate and he is their candidate, and they supported him where he went to contest, leaving our candidate alone. And the evidence of that is that throughout the campaign, none of the national officers, the presidential candidate, Abubakar Atiku, the chairman of the party, Senator Iyosha Ayu, none of them came to Ekiti to campaign for PDP candidate, which is very absurd, which was part of the reason why we had that credibility problem. And as a result, the party members were not enthusiastic enough. They were not encouraged. So if we say PDP lost that election, we lost to PDP internal crisis. That is just it. Not to blame anybody.
All right. So that on one hand,
Mr. Fayose should be blamed. Blamed for what? I don't understand.
Mr. Adeyemi, just a moment. That on one hand, you've given a reason for the conspiracy within your party. But let's look at it. For those of us who watch the election figures closely, you will see that there is a pattern in that election. Nothing really changed from 2018 to 2022. It's just a difference of about less than 11,000 in the pattern of voting. That is the difference between the votes of the PDP and the vote of the APC. So I'm saying this because if you look at Engineer Segun Oni, who left the PDP for the SDP, and if you put the figures of BC Kolawole with that of Engineer Segun Oni, compare with what APC got, and you compare those figures to 2018, you discover that it's just a difference of about 10,000. So the pattern really did not change. So for those who think that maybe the PDP will have had a good day in Ekiti State, based on the fact that those patterns were still much the same. The PDP had its voters with it, and they stuck with PDP, and by extension, Engineer Segun Oni, who in some of the minds of the voters is still a PDP person. So they went to the vote, to the voting unit to vote for a Segun Oni, who they think is still a PDP member. Those are some of the arguments. But on the other hand, is those who believe that the like of Senator Biodun Olujimi are aggrieved. And you know Omuo, I mean, in one of the local government area, is a stronghold of Senator Olujimi. And in that sense, all of the internal crises which the likes of the leader of your party in Ekiti State, the former governor, Ayodele Fauci, is unable to reconcile these differences, was one of the major causes of the defeat of your party. Are you looking also into that area?
If we are talking of loyalty to the party, former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fauci, is just an individual. Do we now say because you lost an election at primary election is a process? You will agree with me. It was because Mr. Peter Obi could not withstand the process in PDP, and he knew quite well that he was not going to win the presidential election. That was why he left. Engineer Oni stood back simply because he thought he could win the primary election. And the moment he lost that primary election, he was agreed and he left the party. And a good and loyal party people, irrespective of whatever is the crisis, will stay by the party. After all, it wasn't the name of engineer of Bisi Kolawole or Peter Ayodele Fauci was on the ballot paper. It was PDP. And this is the problem with
the blame is that Governor Fauci was unable. Just a moment. The blame was that Governor Fauci was unable to reconcile the differences in the party. There are leaders of the party that are not happy. Those who have said that, I understand, are saying that they will work against the PDP, but they remain PDP members. But Ayodele Fauci, who is the leader of the party in the state, was unable to reconcile these differences. These are some of the allegations that we are hearing from the members of the party in Ekiti State.
What I want you to understand is that political party is bigger than an individual. Assuming Ayodele Fauci could not resolve whatever you are calling the crisis, what is the party at the national level doing? Are they now saying because there is crisis in Ekiti, they have to lead them to that crisis and lead them to that trouble? And we have seen the result now. And what I'm now saying is, we only pray this will not go further into 2023 election. Because if you are now saying because you have you are fighting Ayodele Fauci, and because of that you are not showing the support to the candidate that won the primary election, yeah, you are not doing the Ayodele Fauci. You are undoing the party, and you are not loyal, and it is unfair. But then PDP suffer. All right, so
I would like to ask you, you are a chieftain of the party in Osun State, and you are with Senator Ademola Adeleke, who is the candidate of your party. So the fear in the camp of Osun PDP is that what played out in Ekiti will play out also in Osun State, because the Accord Party candidate in your party was aggrieved. He left for the Accord Party. And there are a lot of people who are also aggrieved. Similar scenario that played out in Ekiti is also playing out in Osun PDP.
It is not the same. It is not the same in the sense that Ogunbiyi that left PDP for Accord is an unpopular candidate. He was never part of us. He only came after 4 years to seek for the candidature or to seek for the ticket of the party. So he is on his own. Much as you are talking about PDP today, we should also look into APC, where, as I'm talking to you now, the former governor of the state, Aregbesola, does not even form part, his name does not come up as part of the campaign committee. So all his people, that is all the APC, are divided too. For the mere fact that they are not on the ballot in another political party does not mean that there is unity in them. What I'm now telling you is that Ekiti is not Osun. Our scenarios are different, and you will see the difference in June 16.
All right, let me bring in Senator Ajibola Basiru in the same vein, in the same train of questioning. What happened, Senator, in Ekiti State? Do you think your party ruled on the strength of the crises and the weaknesses of the PDP to win in Ekiti? Because I know you also took part, largely as the leader of the party in that region, in that zone, in Ekiti. Do you think that your party rode on the strength or the weakness of the PDP in Ekiti State?
Not really, and I will say that what my brother, there is saying is basically fallacious, and it is not backed by empirical data emanating from the election. He has said that what really happened is PDP losing to PDP. But when you look at the hard figures, our candidate, the APC, won with 53% of the votes. It means that the total votes to all other contesting political parties, including the PDP, SDP, NNPP, Labour Party, and all other parties, are just paltry 47%. In a plurality democratic system that we practice, simple majority will be 50.1%. So if our party had won with 53%, then it is not a case of PDP losing to PDP. It's a case of total loss of PDP because of the fact that the PDP, and I say this emphatically, is an asphyxiating and dying party in the southwest part of Nigeria. And the recent huge loss in the electoral processes, not only in 2018 in Ekiti and Osun State, but in 2019 in the general election, speak to the fact that as far as southwest Nigeria is concerned, PDP is a fast dying party and will be ultimately buried on July 16, 2022 in the state of Osun. And as to his contention that he has said that it was because of infighting within their party, assuming without conceding that even Segun Oni team up with Bisi Kolawole, it will mean that both of them will get less than 40% of the total forecast. It will be a kind of symbiotic failure of the two coalition. Now he has not minded his business, because when you say you want to point at somebody's nose, you first remove, with respect to him as my elder brother, the speck in his own eyes. I know just yesterday there was a court of appeal decision in Akure. We sent back a contentious matter about the leadership of the party of the PDP in Osun. And that case has been remitted back for consideration of the pending motions and originating summons. As it is today, it is even an Ondo man that is the chairman of the caretaker committee of the PDP. And as to his reference to my leader, my mentor and benefactor, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, I know Ogbeni Aregbesola will never do anything against the interest of the Progressive Party in Osun. It may be his wish, but that wish is just a mere wishful thinking. They're now talking about the state of our party in Osun. The last contest that we had with the PDP was the 2019 general election. Our presidential candidate, President Muhammadu Buhari, won with more than 10,000 votes at the general election. In the 3 senatorial contests, out of the 3 senatorial districts, my party won 2, Osun West and Osun Central. Out of 9 federal House of Representatives seats at stake, my party won 6 out of 9. I think that's quite impressive, about 70% margin. Out of 26 state assembly on offer, my party won 23 out of 26. So when you are looking at the state of the last contest we had before the present election, it starts to speak that the party to beat is actually the APC, and the PDP is far.
It appears some glitches there, technical wise, in the connection with Senator Basura Ajibala. Basically breaking down from the APC point of view on the state of the race in Osun State, gleaning from the experience of Ekiti State. Senator Ajibala, if you may continue, I understand that you're back now.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that the track record of our government in Osun has endeared the majority of the people to us, to the extent that what will befall the PDP on July 16 will be far worse than what befell them in Ekiti State. In the area of infrastructure, we have performed credibly well. In the area of interface with the public service, not a single minute has the public service gone on strike because of a cohesive conducive working atmosphere created by the administration of Governor Itola. In the area of education, we have not only revitalized the educational sector, but we revigorate the sector by employing 1,000 teachers based on merit, and also rejuvenate infrastructure in that area. In the health sector, we have been able to set up 320 primary health care centers in the 332 wards in our state, created the health insurance scheme, and supported it with 630 million as a takeoff grant. In the area of arrears of pension, 500 million is paid every year to clear the arrears of pension from the time that the state was created. In terms of contributory pension scheme, Osun is only one of the 5 states in Nigeria that actually adhere and are fidel to the payment of pensioners. But this commitment does not derogate from our infrastructure and improvement in the state. We have been able to construct and rehabilitate more than 500 kilometers of road and do more than 5,000 act roads in Osun in the past 3.5 years. So when you look at this interface with our people, the qualitative and the development in the area of welfare of our people too, there's no doubt that PDP, a dying party, will eventually met his last breath on July 16, 2022 in the state of Osun.
All right. So, Senator, yeah, if I may coming into, and ask you this. Now, you see the wave of defection in your party, especially in the National Assembly, which you speak for. There is a gale of defection. I'm understanding that about 22 senators or lawmakers are set to dump the APC. It's so bad that when your party, a few days ago, your party had leaders in the National Assembly who have dumped their seat and moved to the other party. So you wonder that how this psychologically will affect the chances of your party, a party that lawmakers and federal lawmakers that is, and leaders of the party, and jumping ship. It shows maybe they don't believe in the party any longer and they don't believe the party is viable. Wouldn't this affect your chances in Osun State?
I like speaking to facts. One, I want to first say that all politics are local. The politics of the state of Osun is different from national politics. And I don't know any of the existing National Assembly members in the state of Osun that has defected to the party. So if, arguments will be on the basis of defection, I don't see how defection of somebody in Kebbi State or somebody in Katsina State will not affect the fortune of my party in the state of Osun. Secondly, too, even at the National Assembly, when we take this course, as at the time that the National Assembly was inaugurated on June 11, 2019, there were 63 National Assembly senators belonging to the APC. Today, even with the defection of some of the members of our party, we still stood at 67. That means that we have gained 4 senators in advantage over the People's Democratic Party. And there's the question of people defecting. They may have their reasons. Some of them may be because they have lost popularity in their party. It may be because of the peculiar challenges or what they face in their state. But what I know is that the Southwest has spoken in Ekiti and will speak louder in Osun to say that the PDP, to the extent that it does not even have regard for the cohesion of the country, does not have regard for the federal character nature of our country, and to the extent that it does not even care about the feelings of the people of the southern Nigeria in terms of power shift, will be rarely rejected in the election of July 16, 2023. And in any event, when you look at what is on ground today, and you will soon see that before July 14, and I say this, you can mark my word, the PDP in Osun would have become an empty shell before that election.
All right, quickly, just in 30 seconds, if you may respond, because I'd like Mr. Odeyemi to come back into the conversation. There are a lot of people who talk about the wave of followership and popularity of the PDP candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, whom a lot of PDP members and leaders in the PDP in Osun State believe that he actually won the election, but for some technical reason, the victory was given to your candidate and your governor. That's the belief in the camp of the PDP in Osun State. I mean, you heard him, probably seen the video, that he has promised that they will defeat the APC, one. Secondly, that whatever it takes, they have the wherewithal to battle the APC. And he's also said, if it is money, that they have it in pounds, they have it in dollars, and they have it as well in naira. Are you prepared for what looks like a battle that the PDP is bringing to your doorstep?
I think I would say that it's rather unfortunate that somebody aspiring to the highest office in the state could be such kind of boast about having money in pounds, in dollars, to be able to induce voters. It speaks to the credibility of that candidate and to that ticket. And I've addressed a press conference yesterday, day before yesterday, that there's a need for EFCC and ICPC to investigate the source of his wealth and also take him to task as to the intention, manifest intention to commit offense, because he has shown that he wants to commit offense of inducement of voters, which I know is an electoral offense. But go to speak with it. I would say that it would rather be unfortunate for People's Democratic Party to bring somebody with respect, and I say this with utmost respect, who has no cognate experience in any field or in any work or endeavor in life to seek to preside over a state of 4.8 million people. As at the last time, and I have a copy of the two from CFO one that he failed. He initially claimed he has secondary school certificate. In the present one he failed, he deliberately omitted it because he knew that was suspect. So when you have somebody who has 30 years of private sector experience, somebody who has more than a decade experience in public servant being offered by our party, and then somebody who does not even have a single hour of any experience in any meaningful, fruitful endeavor advancing to office, and you talk that you won election. The election of 2018 was won by a party. They challenged it up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court made its verdict. So if somebody is reopening, the matter is people tell us. And I told you, the last contest we had with them was in 2019, and they were roundly defeated. 23 we won out of 26 out of assembly, 2 out of 3 senatorial districts, 6 out of federal representative. These are figures.
Senator, I need to bring in Ms. Odeyemi back into the conversation. Ms. Odeyemi, I'd like you to respond to what Senator Ajibala Basiru just said about how the race will go. I mean, your candidate has openly said and declared war that, look, we will roundly defeat the APC, and they have the wherewithal. Is that the state of affairs or the state of the mind of some of the leaders in Osun and what you're preparing for?
What Ajibala Basiru failed to mention is the issue of vote buying in Osun State. In 2018, in the election, he is claiming that they won. Their leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was in Osun State and told us categorically that he has money to win Osun State. He told us that even the money he is bringing to Osun State is more than the money anybody could counter. And that was the reason why one of our supporters asked that question. Would it not be the same thing that happened in 2018, whereby money was used against us? And in a bravado or in a manner to reassure our people, that was when the senator said, yes, if it is money this time, we will match them. Naira for naira, dollar for dollar, fire for fire. And as a matter of fact, APC has their own way of doing things and getting results by all means. And what we are saying in Osun State is that people have rejected them, and they are going to exhibit that with their voters card on the 16th of July. But what we are begging and what we want Nigerians to take note is that they should please help us beg them not to stop killing our people. As I'm talking to you now, we have lost almost 5 of our members. We have reported this to security agencies. They are using Amotekun, which they said they created because of terrorism or kidnapping in Osun State. They are using it as a weapon to terrorize the electorate in Osun. In Ilesha yesterday, they shot guns in such a way that people of Ilesha even closed their door against them. In Ijebu-Jesha, the same thing happened. They have started. They are empowering the thugs, and they are assuring the electorate that they have the money to buy them. But the people of Osun State, we reject them with their vote on the 16th of January. I'm happy to hear that my brother is reeling achievements of Governor Oyetola. Good enough. He has not mentioned the area of security in Osun State. We are in this Osun State where people are kidnapped averagely on weekly basis. In my town, in Ibokun, we don't have a bank again. In Ikinu, there is hardly a bank there simply because the robbers took over. It's not talking about that. The education is in comatose. Even the building they said, Aregbesola left, they said they did a quantity survey or whatever, that it was substandard. And here is the education sector, they said they spent billions of naira on. As we are talking now, they said they bought an helicopter for surveillance, for security purposes. We don't know the whereabouts of that helicopter today. They said they were building the airport at Osun. What has become of that airport with billions of naira sunk into the project? It's not talking about that. The only thing we saw in Osun State is the bridge they built.
We're due for a break.
And they are claiming to achieve
so we need to take that break. But when we come back, we continue the conversation. And this is not the only agenda we have tonight on the program. There's so much more. We'll focus also on the presidential election. We have one of the presidential candidates right with us on the program. Stay with me, everyone. We continue the conversation between Senator Ajibola Basiru and Mr. Diron Odeyemi on Osun State election and what will become of the contest that different political parties will run into. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. So much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. So we looked at Ekiti State governorship election and the outcome, especially what the differences between the APC and the PDP, some of the issues in the PDP. And, of course, whether or not that trend of victory from the APC can replay itself in the Osun governorship election, which is just about 3 weeks away. Let's get back to the conversation and a closing moment with my two guests on that topic, Senator Ajibola Basiru and Mr. Diron Odeyemi, both of them who are virtually speaking with us tonight. Let's get back now. I'd like Senator Basiru Ajibola to respond to what Mr. Odeyemi has said in relation to the performance of your candidate and the chances of your party.
You see, if he cannot blow the trumpet of his candidates and that of his party, I think the Adeleke dynasty will sack him this night. So I will not join issue with him as to what he has said. But what I know is that truth and falsehood are clearly separated. The performance of our students at the external examinations in the past 3 years and the records are there to show, speak to what we are talking about in terms of our investment in the education sector. The National Bureau of Statistics has also talked about the quantum of investment that we have been able to generate into our society. And for him to say that the only road we have done is the Olaya flyover, maybe he's no longer staying in Osun. I know he has a lot of affinity with Ibadan. He will also go to Kegada, which is the homestead of their candidate, and see that the first set of road infrastructure were done by Governor Itola in Ede, the homestead of the Adeleke dynasty. And that the road from Ede, Ara, Ejigbo has also been tarred, as well as many other township roads, including the Bokun, where I campaigned before today. Then to talk about question of insecurity. Yes, there's a general pervasive sense of insecurity in Nigeria, but I just say that Osun is still one of the safest states in the state. We cannot afford to demarket our state on the altar of politicking, and a lot of investment can go into the area of security. But if you check your phone, Shane Okibaloye, I sent to you and your producer pictures of vandalization of the billboards of our party and our governor in Osun, so that you may possibly beam it out to show as empirical evidence of the act of vandalism and brigandage that the People's Democratic Party are capturing. I also know that the candidate of their party, Debola Adeleke, paraded a known thug who is wanted by name Emir in Osogbo, and we said clearly, and they have not denied it, that known thug called Emir was given 7 million and some weapon in order to wreak atrocity. The reference they made to Amotekun was an attack by the PDP thugs on the house of the commander of Amotekun, Comrade Amitolu Ameshitu, which have reported to the police and are taking it up. And of course, a known thug of the PDP made attempts to attack our convoy in Elisha yesterday, when we were coming back from campaign. It was prepared by security agents, and a necessary petition had been written to the police, which I can forward to you. We have invested so much in security. The belief of our governor by Section 14 of the Constitution, which is sworn to uphold, is that security and welfare of the people is the paramount purpose of governance. We will not sacrifice security of our people. We will not sacrifice the free, convivial nature of our people's existence on the altar of political experience. And we urge the People's Democratic Party in good conscience to so act in that regard. And as to his reference to my leader, my mentor, my benefactor, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'm one of the lawyers that looked into the petition they filed against our party in 2018. There were no allegations of inducement of voter and voters buying. So by logic, I would say what he is now saying is really an afterthought that has no empirical basis. And to justify the open and brazen the legal statement of Demola Adeleke, somebody supposed a district senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria, on the basis of a statement that was made by my leader, which was not contested, which has not been an issue, is just, for me, an afterthought, for him.
All right.
As to
Senator, we need to wrap up this conversation now. And I'd like Mr. Odeyemi to quickly respond just in a few minutes before we close the program. Mr. Odeyemi, your response.
It is logical to gauge the popularity of the governor. If Ajibola Bashiru is telling the whole world that he went to Elisha and the people tried to attack him, and that is a governor you are claiming.
I said a member of your party, and has been reported.
That shows the popularity of your governor. If you now claim that his posters and billboards are being vandalized everywhere, that shows how popular the governor is. What I want to tell you is that as a political party, you have the habit of testing whatever it is you want to do, or accusing PDP of whatever it is you are doing. And that is exactly what is playing out here. PDP has no talk. We don't have the money. You are the one that employed talk. You call them senior boys or whatever. And you are the one that is using Amotekun against us. And we implore the security agencies in the state not to sleep over this matter. We have made a lot of allegations. We have written petitions. We have addressed a press conference. We are yet to hear from them. We call on the IG. We call on the director of SSS, wherever, to please come to our rescue, because we are no longer safe, because APC wants to be in government at all costs. But the people of Osun State will reject them come July 16th by the special grace of God.
All right. We need to close this conversation, but I must sincerely thank both of you. But let me be fair to give 20 seconds of closing moments for each of you. Senator, do you have 20 seconds to just close your thoughts?
I will only say a Yoruba adage. If we are the one that are speaking the truth or not, the public will know on July 16, 2022. Osun people will reject the bad product that PDP is marketing for us.
Mr. Odeyemi,
my appeal to the people of Osun State is not to sell their votes. They may come with whatever amount, 20,000, that's what we had. They are going to start buying votes. Please don't sell your future. Your future belongs to the progress of Osun State, and it is in the hands of Senator Nuruddin Ademola Jackson Adeleke. By the special grace of God, we are going to rule this state with the fear of God. And we put smiles on your face. Don't sell your votes. That's my message.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming tonight. And that's how we wrap up that conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Senator Ajibola Bashiru and, of course, Mr. Odeyemi. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.